Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Friday, the 12th of December. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own chance. I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com, and it's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, let's have a look at, a couple of things to mention. Dyer, yesterday, on YM and on Dyer, we made new all-time highs. We also had the hourly RSI 14 sell signal fixed, and we also had the daily RSI 5 sell signal fixed. Now, that was pretty significant. Actually, I mistakenly mentioned that as a daily RSI 14 sell signal and in my post this morning. So I did a post this morning. I was looking at the targets above, and the wedge resistance trend lines, but that was significant. And I think that reduces the chances that we are going to see any kind of meaningful retracement before Christmas, although the odds of that weren't hugely high anyway. That's okay. In terms of NQ, we've already got a 6-minute sell signal which reached the possible near miss target. This has definitely been the weakest off the low. We've got potential little level tops setups on ES and NQ. Nothing compelling saying these are going to deliver anything. RTY, I had a look at this and I decided to just call this as a possible near miss target, mainly because pretty much got into the area and it's obscuring what's happening here, which is we actually got a nice full 60-minute sell signal brewing on IWM. Now this has actually had the strongest move off the lows, partially because it's the most sensitive to interest rates, and there was this perception that the Fed was going to cut interest rates, although in practical terms I don't think it's not really in their power to do that. And when we come to ZB, you'll see that actually the ZB is pretty much back at the lows again after only a couple of days. But RTY, we've got a possible 6-minute sell signal brewing here, and I would say we've got a decent looking rising wedge here. I am wondering if we might see a bit of a pullback and consolidation on RTY. On YM, negative divergence is barely measurable, if there is any. So I haven't got this as a sell signal brewing, but we do have sell signals. A weak 6-minute sell signal has fixed on Dyer. And we've got another one, which is brewing or fixed, I think, on ESTX overnight. So watching this with interest. Sorry, there's the wrong. All right, so I'm wondering about some consolidation here. One thing we have been seeing is we've been seeing a crawl up, but it has been more of a crawl after the first burst of the rally. We've not seen much in the way of particularly interesting looking action. I'm thinking that may well extend through into Christmas. We may not be looking at anything exciting. I am expecting to still see retests of the new all-time highs on ES and NQ, but it need not be particularly exciting. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts, where we had a few days ago, we had daily RSI 14 sell signals brewing on ES, SPX, on IWM, and on Dyer. We lost the divergence, obviously, on ES and SPX, and we failed to get that back yesterday because we went through it. Qs, we never had negative divergence. Dyer, that actually developed into an RSI 5 sell signal, and that failed decisively yesterday. And looking at IWM, we had negative divergence and we lost that again yesterday as well. So we've currently got no daily RSI 5 sell signals fixed or brewing on any of these. So, and that really was the best shot at seeing some retracement here. In terms of the shorter term, hourly RSI 14 sell signals, we've lost the one on Dyer. We've still got the other three, but so far they've not delivered anything, and it's possible we'll just melt up through them. This is a slow move, but it's been it's been delivering the upside, and it's not really been showing any significant retracements. That may well last through till Christmas. So looking at SPX there, came very close within 17 handles of a retest of the all-time high. I'm expecting to see that any day now, really. Qs has been the weakest from the low. I was talking about this in the post, and I'm thinking this. I'm thinking the massive tech move this year may well actually be we may well see a reversion to the mean next year. And I think a lot of the, I think it's hard to call when a bubble bursts, but I think the AI bubble may well be starting to burst here, and that is the source of this underperformance. If so, that will likely accelerate next year. Looking at Dire, nice retest of the high here, could go higher. We're closest to testing the wedge resistance here. I'm thinking that may hit or maybe overthrow bearishly in the next couple of weeks. Qs, I'm not expecting to see much more than the retest of the highs. SPX, I was giving the level where if we saw, hang on, wait a second, if we saw a test of the wedge resistance trend line, that would be up in about 71.50 area currently. Personally, I think that's a bit of a long shot. But looking at IWM looks potentially within reach, and I gave the level for that. I can't remember what it was. I think it was about 266.5 at the moment. That is potentially in reach, although we'll come to the bonds thing because, of course, in practical terms, in theory, the Fed cut interest rates this week. In practical terms, does that actually have any real effect? I'm skeptical. None of the previous ones over the last year and a half have actually had really any significant impact. All right, DAX. DAX, we've got haven't failed the head and shoulders yet, but we're getting pretty close. Need to get to 24.4k on that. This is on track, I think, for a retest of the high. And Nikkei, as long as we can hold above the daily middle band, I think I'm quite liking a high retest here as well. And we may set up some nice topping patterns into the start of next year. All right, let's have a look at DX. DX looks as though it might be seeing a bit of a rally here, but we've broken down from a double top with a target in the 97.37 to 97.47 area, and we are halfway there. Not seeing anything compelling, saying we aren't going to make it. Obviously, the bear flag on USD broke up. Nothing really bearish appears on GBP. We've got this original bull flag wedge looks as though it's forming, expanding into a bull flag channel. If so, on yen, we should see a move down here, which would fit with DX heading down to that double top target, and that would be take yen down to about 154. Nothing really to see on the others, so we'll see. All right, ZB. ZB, this has gone back to the lows. I was saying this might well happen. We've not seen any real-world impact that lasted more than a day or two on the previous interest rate cuts last year. And this is, I think, on the 30-year yield, and this is the 30-year bond, of course. I think we're probably heading back into a retest of the 16-year high. At the moment, we've broken down from a large head and shoulders with a target in the 112.04 area, and I'm not seeing anything compelling to say that it's not going to make that target. I would say, though, that we do have a potential double bottom here as we retested this low, but I'm expecting it to continue down. ZN hasn't been quite as weak, pretty much made it to the double bottom target there. Bigger picture, I've got a double top that's broken down there with a target in the 110.17 to 110.12 area. Hang on, I'm just going to have a quick aside and look at the bigger picture bond chart, well, the RTH bond charts. Just because I want to see if there's anything on the hourly charts that is worth noting. Bear with me a minute. All right, I'm looking at, should be, all right, they're coming up. Okay, TNX. No divergence there. I think we're just resuming on to breaking up from this IHS. Could this be a larger IHS? No, I think this is the correct IHS thing. If we came down further and formed a longer possible right shoulder here, we could have a larger IHS forming. But I think if this is all the retracement we're looking at, chances are it's just breaking up towards this target here. On TLT, again, nothing to see. We just backtested the head and shoulder neckline here and on the way down. So I think I'm expecting this move on bonds to continue. All right, let's have a look at oil. Oil's been very weak, and I'm still thinking very much that we might see a retest of this low here at 56 and give us a better double bottom. I'm hoping to get a post out today on the bigger picture bullish setup, but before that bullish setup starts playing out, I'd like to see a retest this low if possible. HO has been trickling down. That double bottom never worked out. Again, I'm wondering whether we're going to see a retest of the low and maybe a bit lower. And RBOB is trickling down as well. So I'm thinking we make one more big low, that maybe in the 55, 56 area on WTIC and CL, and then maybe after that we can start looking at whether this bullish scenario is going to play out. NG, we've seen a hell of a rejection here. This has been really impressive. I mean, we've got up to 5.5 and it's now down at just over 4.1. That was an impressive move, and that may be we're not going to be continuing to the higher targets. So although, to be honest, it makes the chart look messier than I would like. We've got a 60-minute buy signal fixed here, and I'm wondering about seeing a rally. GC, finally, we're seeing some movement. Obviously, we had I was looking at this as a bullish triangle. That's broken up, retested the high, and continued higher. I think we're on the way back to a retest of the all-time highs. SI is already back at the all-time highs, obviously. Broke over those at 50. We're continuing up in the 60s here. Not seeing anything compelling saying this is going to reverse. The weak 60-minute sell signal that's fixed has obviously been fixed for a while. It's been ignoring it so far. Palladium made it up to the retest of this high, and I'm thinking it's probably on the way up to the retest of this high. We've got an open double bottom target here in about the 1705 area, and I think this higher high here is encouraging for this to continue. On platinum, we've made a higher high as well. We retested this high, we retested this high again. We've got a big double bottom there, although it's too large to see on this chart, and I'm looking higher. HG, we didn't form the head and shoulders. We went back and retested the high. We've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed. This could be a double top. I wouldn't be astonished to see this go higher. On KC, still battling around the monthly pivot. SB, still battling around the monthly pivot, but I'm quite liking the odds of making this double bottom target in the 15.43 area. On CC, we've seen we've ignored the possible inverted head and shoulder neckline down here. Really, I think we're heading back up into this possible IHS neckline up here in the 67.10 area. And we will see what happens there. We do have a 60-minute sell signal fixed on CT. Possible IHS here, but really this is the right shoulder's gone on too long, so I've been inclined to see it as something else. I'm leaning towards seeing a retest of this low at this stage, which would be in about the 63.15 area. Looking at lumber, we've broken up from a double bottom with a target in the 583 area. Weak 60-minute sell signal fixed, but leaning towards seeing this target being made. ZW, no longer looks like a double bottom. This seems to be trickling down at the moment on corn. This looks like a bullish consolidation, possible triangle forming. On soy, soy is making good progress down towards the head and shoulder target in the 105.875 area. Not seeing anything to suggest that won't be hit. ZL is trickling down as well. Next obvious target would be a retest of this low here in about the 49.80 area. On live cattle is continuing higher. We've ignored the obvious IHS neckline and just gone up through it. I'm liking the upside here, actually. We've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed. That hasn't quite failed overnight, although it came close. HE, we've got a nice-looking double bottom that is broken up with a target in the 88.65 to 90.2 area, and I'm not seeing anything to suggest that won't make target either. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at questions, of which we have none. All right. Everyone have a wonderful weekend. Watch out for this afternoon. I'm planning to get this post on oil out. I'm hoping to get one out on crypto tomorrow morning. All right, everyone take care. Have a great weekend. Cheers.